7:05 p.m. Wednesday, April 16th. This is planning and zoning meeting. We're on a field visit at the Black Sycamore Pond.
In attendance.
In attendance is
Eric Fisher,
Terry O'Connor.
Brandon Cooper.
J.P. Martin,
Lewis Jones.
Tiffany Southern.
Haley Brown.
we have a guest, but
oh yeah, sorry.
Observer.
Oh, an observer, sorry.
He's hiding.
well, I guess go ahead and.
Okay, talk to me.
Okay, cool. So, welcome to the supposed course. I already set my basket out there further down. You can see just an example of the space. Average disc golf hole essentially is around, like I said, 250 to 350, which would be like a par 3, which is like an average hole for an average player. This is a ton of space, as you can see. From the basket to this corner is 330 feet. From the basket to the sewer top over there is something like 360. So you can see there's a lot of space. Don't have to utilize it all, but it does exist. That just shows like the potential of the designs that could be had. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to do like a super massive kind of design like a professional course where you're having like 1,000-foot holes. That's out of the ballpark. That's a little. You need like an actual golf course for that type of thing. But for recreation, for neighborhood, this is perfect. I just walked it. It's pretty far. There's a couple different ways to approach a hole like this. You could go over the water if you wanted to. You could go around the bank, around the side. Whatever you do kind of depends on upping the difficulty for the shot. And difficulty sometimes equals more enjoyment, more repeatability. If it's fun, people will come back. Especially if it's fun, people will come back. JP and I took a walk around the edge there just to see what's on the other side. Again, I've seen pictures of the golf course when this was all bald. It's beautiful, and there's nothing to be done about moving land because it was a golf course. It still technically is a golf course underneath all the stuff. So it's up to us, like in this design, in this project, to really shape how people move through it and where things go. There's enough space over there. You're not throwing at anybody. You're not throwing at anybody's yard. There's a lot of free space with that said. So I would say let's take a walk to the other side and we can do a little demo.
Okay, so before we go, where are the ones that are over there?
They
we
are
don't need to walk over there, but it's basically second house in, third house in,
up
behind.
Up the street, take a left,
Uh-huh.
and then you would take the right down the driveway to the elementary school.
And then how far towards the school are they? They're not. They're in this side field, correct? So it's not that far of a walk.
There's some that are on the left-hand side that
Okay.
go up the kind of up the thing.
Okay. Did you know all of that?
Yeah.
The other, I was just pointing out, like for this, the other holes that start are over there.
Pre-existing
Mhm.
holes.
Yeah. It's essentially a block away.
Okay.
Cool.
No, I didn't, but my husband got very excited when I told him last month.
I just know since we're talking about it, the reason that some of us said that if we're going to do this, they should start here is because you'll be connecting to that one. And that's why we thought if we came here, these would be like the first two holes on our section and then...
Keep going.
Because you guys weren't, you guys weren't here at those originals.
The
So I
whole
was just
section
gonna-
makes 18, and we thought, hey, they have 7. Why don't we add 2
you get
and
9?
see how it plays out and see
Yeah.
if it's agreeable? Because there's 2 ways it's probably going to go. It's either people are going to be like, "There's so much racket, we hate this stuff that's going on," and you go, "Okay, well then we just won't have 2 holes." Or you go, "Oh, this is a great success. Let's add on to this so people can enjoy the village more."
Yeah.
We're just trying to give you more background. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
On that note, let's walk down to the basket so we can get like a demonstration of noise, I should say, sound, since that seems to be a concern.
Your practice basket is way more legit than I thought it would be in my head when we discussed it last time. Expecting something out of like the Meyer kids toy section.
Oh, no.
This is what they have at Hoover, right? Essentially.
Yeah, a beefier version.
Okay.
The actual course baskets are just a little more stout than this.
Okay. Now, obviously, this is mobile because you brought it.
Yeah, this one is portable.
So what would we do to them? Because we wouldn't want to leave them like that, or they would never last. So
Yeah.
do they get buried? Do they get like? Is there a pole?
So the-
Have you been down to the school to see how their installation
No,
is?
that's what I was
See,
wondering.
that's useful because
Okay.
we are base our construction on the
Okay.
on what they do.
So these wouldn't just be like this.
No.
They would be like.
They're up a little higher.
Just a portable
they're in
lantern.
the support.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are not mobile. Like this is
No,
mobile
that's what I
practice
was-
center.
I
It's a
figured
good
that.
use here. So.
Perfect.
And just for design and challenge difficulty, like Hoover is the most popular one in Columbus. They actually come through and do like a Silver Series tournament there. And some of the pros and the lesser pros come through and they play there. One of their most famous basket there is in the middle of the field, but they planted it on top of a wooden pyramid to give it height, to add challenge. So things like that can be done. You can build stuff around it, a retaining wall of sorts to kind of encourage people. A lot of places just do a lot of like a big bank of sawdust to kind of dampen the impact of the disc coming in flying so we don't bounce or roll into the water. As far as noise, this is what you're hearing. It's not even louder than the fountain. So, yeah. I mean, the chances of, you know, and it's not going off every 2 seconds, you know. Not everybody is is that sharp a shooter. At the most, you'll get a lot of maybe groans, crowd noise, groans, cheers. That's it. Because if somebody is able to make a hole-in-one, obviously you'll have a lot of, yeah, but that's it. I mean, and this is the extent of it. There it is. There it is. Now to up the from here, for example, to up the challenge, I mean, not much of a challenge if you're coming straight down, you know. You want to make it more fun and interesting. If we were able to throw across the water, something like that, that's a lot more fun. It's a lot more challenging. You're enticing players to, A, not lose their disc in the water. That's a high priority. But also, something like this, from there to there, that's like, I dare you, you know, challenge. See if you can get a hole-in-one, you know? This is the type of stuff that like makes courses worthwhile, makes them memorable. People are gonna come back if it's fun.
You see, that's part of it for a neighborhood one, where I see kids playing it, going across the pond. I see people in the pond one, where I'd be concerned about that feature. I'd more like it kind of end here and then start over there, so that we would have less activity in the pond.
Right on.
Yeah.
The kids will still fire from over
Oh,
there.
they will. They'll do it themselves because you create your own holes. But I think if you initially, you know,
Right on.
try to limit that.
That is a very valid concern.
Yeah.
Most players, if they're playing regularly, they have
Yeah,
this.
but I want to think neighborhood people too. The people in the neighborhood that come out and do this
Yeah.
aren't going to have that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't
Our
have
maintenance
this.
Yeah.
will have that.
I didn't have this until maybe a couple months, a year into it when I decided I really wanted to play.
Yeah.
Right? But again, if you have people who are enthusiastic in playing and they're gonna want to learn and they're gonna want to play, they're gonna eventually have this. Or somebody in their crew is gonna have this. You know? Losing a disc in the water on the other courses around town, it's kind of typical. Some discs actually float, which is good. Some people might actually jump in the pond. There's, I mean, it's a metro park. People are doing whatever out there. So, to encourage that, yeah, we can plant it somewhere else or make it shorter to decrease the difficulty. But, you know, that's up for the design.
I want to touch base something on Luke just said. He said that we have a chance and opportunities to make this a very good course. So just to give you an idea, none of you guys were here when I was a kid, but this was a Minerva Park golf course right back here. In Columbus, Ohio, this is one of the most famous golf courses, not because how big it was, because how pretty it was, how well it's taken care of. A lot of people love this, so you can understand all the people in the legacy section not be happy about the MI homes being built. This is our way of kind of redeeming that in a sense. This is our way of kind of getting ahead, putting Minerva Park back on the map for being the golf course that we originally was, or somewhat, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's all.
There's a lot of continuation happening if this course goes in and we can make it as beautiful as we can or need to. A lot of that over there, overgrowth, I'm sure there's a lot of critters in there, rabbits and deer like to come in there, but if we decide to, build something there, we have the opportunity to plant more purposeful vegetation back there, besides whatever's just growing back there. Because some of that is choking out native stuff. The white Bradford pear trees that are everywhere. Columbus put out a bounty on those trees now. They're asking people to go out and kill those trees because they're invasive, and they kill all our native trees. So we have a chance to reduce that, put in our oaks, our maples, yada yada yada, and let them grow up, but do it with purpose. Yeah, we can do that.
All the light things go on 161.
You look at anything or you got it?
Some of them are the really flower ones, right?
Yeah.
But there's the basic ones that grew up in no time at all over by where the big hill is. Those have a flower. Are they the same thing?
I don't think so. I think they're different types.
But they're the invasive ones because they grew around that pond over there too. That you had to take them out.
Yeah. I think they were talking about something like that.
Because I thought they came in at school.
And they're supposed to sterile trees, but they hybridize each other.
Okay, yeah.
Pathway's right here, right?
Yeah, on the other side of that picnic table.
I'm talking about the old
There
one.
is a big one that was here at one point.
Yeah, the old one's right over here.
So this hill right here would be kind of cool because we can incorporate. Lewis, was your idea.
Yeah, so like I said, it was a golf course, it still is a golf course underneath it. A lot of the shape of the land is already kind of manicured. This, for example, has a nice constant gradient downward. Who's to say we can't also turn this into a sledding hill during winter if we manage the space? For the disc golf course, also give it dual purpose. So it's not just dedicated to the one thing. It's recreation summertime, it's recreation for winter. Potential. As you can see, there's some mature trees, but a majority of the stuff is just kind of overgrown brambles that get cut down and managed anyway at a certain point. Again, this gives us a chance to be more purposeful about what gets planted back there, and even foster growth of some bigger legacy trees going forward. And
Utilizing this empty space that we have.
yeah,
Also, another way to see that pretty lake or pond, nobody can see unless you live back there on that house. And that pathway we're talking about that's still here, a little overgrown. But this is basically the old path that I've been down to kind of go all the way back to where the old pump house used to be. And this actually continues along that fence line to get you all the way back to where the maintenance garage is going to be, which is really cool. So not only will this help maintenance get to one side of the neighborhood a lot faster if we utilized it, but there's so much potential here. All starting with the Frisbee golf course.
yeah. Does this get in the way of people doing their walks? No.
Not at all.
The loop is right there. It ends right there. We could incorporate a few holes. My original design has holes that kind of go through it. But again, I want you to note, look at how much space, visual space you have, you can see anybody coming and going. If you hit somebody with a disc, it's your fault.
And
You know?
nobody's going back here anyway.
Yeah.
Nobody from that pathway to that lake or the back of those houses to that fence line to here. There's no one here now, and there won't be until we do something cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, more potential to add functionality to the pass, actually make a use of.
Did you have holes in your initial design down here?
Yes.
How many did you have in this?
Probably a good 6 or 7.
Down in this space here?
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's where this one it is away from people, which makes sense. So it's just the cost of for the village of clearing the space.
Yeah.
And those little poles.
And maintaining it.
And
Yeah.
maintaining. Yes. Yes. Luckily, maintaining would include not having to chop down very mature trees.
Yeah.
The mature trees are over here, and these 3 or 4 over there. So
Half of these are invasive species anyways, like these little ones, so killing 2 birds, 4 stones.
yeah. And as far I know, there's a certain people in the neighborhood who always have something to say about the like the critters that live in the neighborhood. They're not going to go anywhere. We can maintain the spaces even if we had like a regular mowing to kind of like keep the brush down. We're not eliminating all the brush. And that's
But you
part.
just trying to have more of a path, a
Yeah.
larger
Yeah.
path
Yeah.
to go through.
I mean, consider a golf course. You know, there's always tree lines and trees and obstacles between each hole. You know, most of the time in a golf course, you're not looking from one and you can see 14 because there's forests in the way, you know? And we can do the same thing here. Be mindful about where we cut, how we cut, and this will help us design essentially what we want to encourage to grow and what we want to help keep clear for this utility.
Something really cool, if we keep walking this way, there's actually a space that's already kind of man-made, already, Luke, down, that is so, you kind of half use your imagination, it's half already built. Oh yeah. And we can kind of go here and show us this cool tunnel kind of, so to speak. And this is what Lewis was talking about, how we can integrate the land that's already kind of there. And we're just cutting a little bit of brush and taking advantage of the open space. Yeah.
So just, if you haven't been back here and you haven't seen it, take a look at all this space. Here's the path, the usual walking path. The loop is this way, right?
Yep,
No, that's the loop.
That's the end of the loop.
So that's the end of the loop right there, all the way to the back fence. Look at how much space there is. There is absolutely a lot of space that could be utilized here. Even with the elevations playing up and down, that creates challenge, that creates interest, that creates, intrigue, that creates signature. When you talk about disc golf courses, a lot of the people know a lot of the courses by like a signature hole. Every course that's worth playing, all the pros play, everyone looks forward to like a certain one because that becomes like the signature for the course. What can we make that's a signature and that people, when they play it, they know, oh, this is Minerva Park disc golf. Not the school, not just the school, but here.
Oh, with the howler hole?
Yeah, that helps with the repeatability.
Groundhogs out here.
We'll keep going this way.
Halfway that's overgrown. The one that we saw.
There's only one current one that's still kind of there.
Didn't know if there were any others hiding in there.
Yeah, no, just that one.
Just that one.
So a lot of potential here. Even this hillside, there's nothing specifically growing on it, nothing urgent. This could be utilized in the design. Playing up, you could put a basket on a hill to increase difficulty. That's fun. That also it artificially increases essentially length. Like in disc golf, if you're throwing uphill, the pros like to say like add 30 feet to your throw because you have to you have to fight gravity to get to the goal. So that just creates more interest, more difficulty, more variety. Let's keep going this way. Now this part, I would say would be the most controversial kind of design for a disc golf because it's in the neighborhood. You see the house is here, but clearly, you know, their backyard, you know, stops at a certain point. This space back here, you can see down, it kind of already has like a natural clearing. I'm sure there was some maintenance work done back there where they had to mow through that. That created a natural path already on the ridge line of the top of the hill here. On the other side is the loop that goes under the underpass and the trash can. That whole entire section is a curved disc golf hole, in my opinion. But I wanted to show you this because like, this is just like brain power. This is imagination, if you can see it. The flight of a disc goes however you want. That's kind of like the joy of disc golf is a ball will go this way, that way, it'll curve. A disc can actually make S shapes if you want it to. You just have to have the skill to do it. But when you do it, it's fun. It's so fun. It's so great. There's nothing like just like putting all your power into it and just seeing it just carve through the trees, carve through the skies. It's a lot of fun. And this is kind of like an example of that. I know my original design was all up and down the walking path from here and there. A lot of that had this in mind, this type of shape in mind too. There's a couple places where you could potentially add more like tree tunnels where you encourage someone to throw straight, which is probably the hardest shot in disc golf. It's just a straight shot, a steady shot without it banking left or right. But you can see there's enough break.
The one thing I will tell you about this, there is a cliff.
Yeah.
With very soft. I mean, I don't know if like a lot of the golf course dirt ended up back there. So it's extremely soft.
Yeah.
So if discs go down, the embankment is very difficult to go because kids will bring ropes to actually
Climb it.
climb it.
Oh, that's fun.
So I mean, and because of that cliff and stuff, I'd be hesitant of having the discs going that way for a risk of people going up and down there and making it looser. And yeah, you've got some large trees that are also down over that way. So this would create a lot of clarity and yeah, the concern where there it's not really by people.
Yeah.
Here you definitely are more by people.
Again, we can let this grow. We can also encourage planting of bigger trees or other shrubs that are more hardy to kind of catch and act as natural netting. You could actually put actual netting up if you really wanted to, just to stop or prevent a potential ricochet, because you know ricochet does happen. You're throwing a plastic disc in the air, it hits a tree, it can bounce. So there are any number of ways to prevent that from happening. But also people digging through brush to find a disc, that's part of the game. That is part of the game. When you go disc golfing, most courses are essentially like having a light grade hike anyway. Blendon Woods, that's a light hike. There's elevations up and down. Hoover, that's at the dam. That's up and down. So wherever you go, the game of disc golf is essentially a light hike, but you're asked to be mindful, you're asked to be skillful to get through it successfully. And again, it is golf. The point of golf is to have the lowest possible score that you can achieve. So people aren't coming out to courses with the intention to throw in somebody's backyard because they don't want to lose their disc. You know? I got a backpack full of blah, blah, blah. It's a couple $100, I want to say. I don't want to lose them. That's why I have this, you know?
Yeah, sorry. So the walk back here, I know many of you can't go because you're gonna get stuff stuck on you like we did, but there's actually a really nice, it flows nicely, there's good distance, and there's a lot of brush and blockage between the houses and here. One thing that did happen is there's a giant tree that fell back here, or one of our trees. Did you know that?
I know that we just had, this is one of the ones that Brad came and removed, right? from
Right.
Others.
Right.
Right in
I
here.
can see what
So I haven't seen that one.
there's supposed to be a good amount of cleanup. But once that tree is gone, then there's room to put a hole, and then I think pathway back down.
What did you think?
No.
What my concern is like that cliff that's there, and
No,
it's
it's-
extremely soft
it's-
dirt.
it's-
And as the discs go, there are people going up and down that.
Well, I would say the hole can meander this way, and you can leave brush on either side. So really, the brushing of itself will stop stuff from going in either direction, and will stop people, right? I mean, right now you can walk back there, but come here in a month or two, you will not be able to walk through there because of the growth that's going to
Yeah,
occur.
That's a good point.
And it won't be hard to keep it maintained, but that same growth on either side will keep stuff from going in all directions, and people, quite frankly.
Yeah. And to address that concern specifically, what you're talking about is Whitehall. Whitehall has a disc golf course right next to the YMCA. This is their course right here. You can see half of the course is divided. One part of the course is on the top of the hill, then there's a giant staircase down. People are in the hill, period, because that's kind of like the nature, the flow of the course. People will be in there. They got to retrieve their discs.
Yeah.
They know the risks. It's just a hike. You're not gonna, if you're going for a hike anyway,
I like that.
you're healthy enough to get up and down.
This opens up a very nice, I think a very nice pathway of our property, and you actually have a nice view, across right now.
Yeah.
And again, when things
Right now,
grow, you
yeah.
won't see it as clearly, but this is a good spot.
Yeah. And fall time, even better, because all the trees get naked and you can kind of see through it, which is pretty cool.
Right on.
To the issue to the down tree, here's something that also Whitehall has done. They've taken logs, old telephone poles, and repurposed them as obstacles in their course design. So if we do have any mature trees that are down, that's just the resource. We can use it as an obstacle. We can build our own obstacle. We can trim it down and mulch it and turn it into wood chips and lay wood chips wherever, around the basket, on the path to encourage a path, those type of things. So if there's down trees, things of that nature, I would encourage us to make use of it,
It's
because
like Bob Ross said, it's a happy
it's a
accident.
happy accident. Amen. Yeah, it's already here. Use it. We don't have to go buy wood chips if we have an old tree that was going to fall anyway. Free resource. We just have to do the work to turn it up and then use it.
It's good stuff. Anybody have any questions for Lewis or any comments?
You guys don't want to walk and see a real hole over there, do you? Or do we want to know?
You want to hang outside for another half an hour? Or?
A little bit of time. Yeah, we can go
Yeah,
over,
we
we
can
can go
walk
over and
over
see the,
I'm
we
being
can go see
smart.
the construction of the holes.
No, I didn't hear you.
So you want to hang outside for
Drive
another
over
half an hour?
No, I'm freezing. I'd rather walk.
Throw something away.
Trash can.
That's a messaging board. You don't remember the messaging board?
Is this something we would design ourselves, or is there something like we would solicit?
What's that?
Would we design it ourselves, or do you seek a consultancy?
Yeah, right here.
So before you and Brandon showed up when we first started talking about this, I actually did a coaching class with Brad Schick. He's a local professional. He's a disc golf professional. He's a touring professional, but he lives upwards in Polaris area, Orange. But he's around. I reached out to him. I took his class. He's offered to come and help shape, help design if we need him to.
Okay.
So if and when this starts going off anyway, I was going to contact him anyway. So he will be down here, period.
Yeah.
He's easy to get a hold of and he's available. So that's a actual touring professional who can give us some real advice. which is awesome.
Big market for
For disc golf?
'cause I feel like more often than not, if I'm on a
You
flight,
gonna go see it?
I swear there's like professional disc golfers there that like have their
Can you guys walk?
discs.
Where are we
in their
going? To the
carry-on
school?
luggage.
Okay.
Bike locked up?
Yeah, it's
Golfer people will have to walk, but we're not going to make the walk to the upper.
We're gonna play a quick 7, no problem.
We're gonna play
Quick 7.
So do we foresee adding like signage to try to connect the two?
Oh, yeah.
Or
I would think so.
I
So,
think that
just for
just-
reference, this is golf and play.
Yeah, yeah,
Pretty healthy.
yeah. That's what I was like. Are other places like this? Because it doesn't seem like it. Like,
It depends. They're all over the place. I mean, if we zoom out, here's, you can see Illinois. There's 69 courses in this area, 39 courses, 103 up top. So they're scattered. Some states have less than we do, which is a blessing. In Maryland, I'm from Maryland.
okay.
In Maryland, there's 3. And you have to drive 45 minutes to an hour to get to any one.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I went for 8 years. I didn't see it.
Chicagoland has a bunch around. I feel like, well, they're usually connected to park systems, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. Downtown is, and downtown has no space. So, specifically downtown, you're definitely not going to see it. Unless somebody like me brings a basket. And then they play and make their own course.
There's one place. I guess just the way the water drains and ships everything. Tonight.
So the permanent ones are more like a chain link fence.
Yeah, we'll come up to one of these baskets soon. Oh, they actually just installed the signage.
or the little
Yeah.
hole? Oh, nice. I assume the concrete pad is kind of standard.
Yep, concrete pad is standard, but that doesn't mean we have to do that as well.
Okay.
We can do any material.
Are they sometimes just like gravel or something?
You can do not gravel.
Not gravel?
If you don't want
Just
people to
dirt.
slip.
That's fair.
If anything, I've seen there's one Coastal Carolina. They have mulch.
Okay.
This is a regular disc golf hole, y'all. This is
Pads last forever, pretty much. That's the nice
it's just a
thing
slab.
It's
you
just a
know?
little slab.
It's a
Yeah.
slab. You
Don't
keep
require
it
any
clean.
maintenance. Yeah.
The only maintenance really you need to do is if there's a crack. But when is that really going to happen? Even if it does, people will still play on it. In wintertime, if it snows, people will shovel it off or bring a broom and sweep it. Most courses have some kind of thing like that near it, or people will come. A lot of our players, especially because we live in Ohio, there's snow. Somebody always goes to Blendon Woods with a shovel when it snows, because it's year round. People can play in the snow or whatever. But I'll come out here. I'll shovel. I don't care. I'll play. This one, for example, the tee pad is facing this way, which you think is encouraging you to throw this one. No, we're throwing to the right here, behind the trees. So they're making use of what's already here. They're not going to cut down the trees just to do it, you know. Get some practice in, you know. Do something different. So. Oh.
Oh, look at
Yeah, need more practice.
Oh, I was about to give you
Right?
I was going to say wrong hole.
Wrong hole for sure. All right, that's better.
There you go.
You see a curve. I don't know physics, but if you're right-handed and you throw forehand like I just did, the disc is dumping out to the right. To reverse that, you throw backhand, and the disc naturally wants to dump out to the left.
Coming back?
Go into the next tree.
Coming back?
Oh, we're on the
Right on the hilltop. That's an average throw. I don't throw very far. but we're also uphill too, so I got a little help with that. But that's an average flow. You can see the disc when I threw it. Like I said, they want it naturally into the left. It curved to the right. That's that S shape I'm talking about. And people do that on purpose. There's X amount of different discs that I have all different shapes. It's just like golf. Driver, putter, your chip shots, etc. They're just shaped differently, and the aerodynamics kind of help you know what the disc might do. That's it. If you want to throw one, if you want to feel it.
I feel like everybody should throw one.
I'm out.
Yeah. Yeah, this gives us also opportunity to like. What am I throwing to? That one? You can throw it there.
Like, can you hit a house? That's the question. Right?
Yes, I can.
That's the
promise
from
you.
here.
So I'm not doing it.
Don't worry, we'll laugh at you.
Right.
Also, to date, these people here, I've seen 2 complaints about disc golf.
I'm going.
I was
2.
I was gonna ask about that.
And that was a year and a maybe last year, early summer. Last summer, somebody complained. One of these people have complained about the noise. But I mean, how noisy? There's nobody here. This is us.
All right, next time someone throws, I'm gonna run out there and try to get them. Damn, Lewis, hit it.
Brandon?
Good.
Any questions? Can I answer any questions about? And again, if somebody's out there, you know, people will take their time, just like golf. You know, you don't swing if somebody's, 200 feet in front of you. You wait until they clear the hole, and you do what you can do.
This course is pretty would be probably considered an easy one.
Yeah.
Right,
Most
very
of the
beginner
local
friendly.
people, most of the local people know that this exists because it's so new.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, this is a practice.
Yeah.
Whatever. I can't throw 500 feet, so it's a regular play for me. Obstacles here. There's that whole entire backside is hills. You actually have to go down the hill to get
It's
to one of the
very
baskets.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
because Lewis showed me one time when we were out here, and it's very cool to kind of you go back behind the pine trees, and you're like, oh.
It actually is that where the walking path is
Yeah,
going to
That's
be
where
in
the bike trail's
future?
going to be. Yeah.
The green rail, green
Linden
line.
Green Line.
Yeah,
It's already kind of spoken for, so you have to play down the hill. You have to play up the hill. The other tee pad is in between those 3 trees on the left, the 3 tall ones. It's in between the 2 on the right. There's a basket or the tee pad in between it, and you throw uphill to get to one of these baskets over there. So it's really taking advantage of the elevation and all the natural things that are around it to make a course, and the difficulty or ease of it. And we're in people's sight, but we're not in their yards.
I would like to. I'd be curious just what of these homes, survey them and see what suggestions or pain points they have.
Okay.
Just like devil's advocate.
Yeah.
To see if they have any input.
Do you know who they complained to?
Our
Westerville
Facebook
or-
group.
Facebook.
Oh, I haven't seen it. I
It
actually
was,
didn't see it.
it was somebody in the neighborhood, so it was on our.
I try to avoid that at all costs, on the record.
Because whereas if we increase over there, then that would increase over here. So
That's fair.
trying to know what is going to be the difficult points for them.
Yeah.
I think my thought with this too is that we're you're talking a lot about people who are very experienced, but I also think we would have a lot of local, I might come here with my wife and my 3-year-old and we might throw it, and we're not going to be very accurate.
Yeah.
And this one seems really great for us.
Yeah.
And so I think obviously keeping in mind that you want it to fit, you have very different users in some ways. And I think that's a great thing
Yeah.
And I
to be
guess
able to use
Where
it.
do we foresee it being
I think
used
that's
the
where it's
most
tricky.
by?
Yeah.
Do we see it being the neighborhood or a bunch of outsiders coming in?
And how well can you do both?
I don't
Yeah.
think
Maybe
that
you
matters.
can.
Yeah. I think you put it up and you see how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because the people come here fairly often, but it's not as popular as the other more mature courses in the area, and that's just based off of popularity and familiarity. People who play regularly want a bigger challenge. Yeah.
I'll walk around and show you guys. This is down in
Thank you for giving.
Absolutely, buddy. I'm glad I got them all.
Circle. So it's like a way to integrate
Um,
with a little bit of space.
over there.
It's right past that goal,
Yeah.
but it's weird.
Down
Yeah,
in
cool.
there. Yeah.
Like it's really down in there.
Yeah. And the seventh one, the last one, is actually to the right of the playground. You can see that green pole.
Oh yeah.
That's the last one, and it shoots into the trees. Those three tall trees there. So you have to actually throw into a bunch of natural obstacles just to get to the.
Do you
the basket.
remember how much they told us that they spent on?
Yes, I sent around that email. Each one,
Can't remember.
each one of these is roughly in the 1700 range. You know, for the hole, for the concrete. So not not including anything else you have to do with some getting into some areas, but for the most part, that's roughly what it is per hole. I had added about $1,000 to each of our estimates just because we have some site work to do. But
I was just curious what
I don't think you'll
Westerville
get there.
spent for this.
Yep, they spent about $1,700-1,800 a hole times 7.
Yeah.
So most of that's the concrete pad.
That's what I was.
Well, a little bit.
And the
equipment-
basket,
equipment,
Yeah.
you
Yeah, the
broke it
basket and
down.
the concrete was
Yeah.
way the
probably
labor.
the most.
Little signage.
Because and as you can see, Tiffany, your question about my portable one.
Yeah.
It's lighter, it's flimsier, but these are basically like fence posts.
They're not coming
They're
down.
cemented at the bottom. They have a little
I
bracket
just
to hold them.
already know what the kids have done to every single thing that we have, so I'm
Yes.
just making sure that
Well, these are
they
out
can't
here.
be pushed over.
Right.
Yeah.
So as long as we
They've-
put them sturdy enough to where, I mean, if you can break it, they will try.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
Yeah,
sitting on the basketball hoops.
Yeah.
They're
Nice
climbing
thing
up the
is-
basketball
yeah,
hoops
yeah.
and sitting on thousands of dollars worth of and breaking them.
Right.
So
The nice thing is these have been out here a while. You can see
Correct.
how they're
Yeah.
been
shape.
treated.
The most I've seen is that I
just
came out
noticed
here
that.
one time, and the one that's down the hill.
He said it's new.
Oh,
too.
yeah, the kids have
Put it up.
put sticks and made like a giant bird's
Right.
nest out of it. But that I just picked it out.
right,
If you plant a tree, some kid's gonna climb it.
you got it. I just, I just want to make sure that however we put them in, it's
Right. It's gonna
as
be the same.
difficult as possible for them to break it.
We have the same. We have the contractor name and everything
Yeah.
for this too.
Yeah, I thought we did.
We can start greasing the basketball poles.
Can we?
That'd be kind of funny.
Can't
Yeah,
climb
and the
them.
signage is brand new. They actually put it in like last week sometime.
Okay.
So they're very fresh.
Looks good. It's a nice addition.
Yeah. And again, a block away from where we were.
Right.
Right. It's not a long walk.
Yeah, I think as a liaison from council, I think just reiterating the same thing that we talked about is just getting a map that actually expresses exactly where the holes would be
Okay.
and what you guys
We can
think.
draw one up.
Yeah, I think that's just kind of revisiting that. I'm just reiterating that.
Yeah.
Right on.
And my design, again, that's not set in stone. Obviously, that was based off of what I'm just walking around looking at.
Right.
We're going to have to move some stuff because some things can't be done.
Right. We'll put something together that's a bit simpler and more specific.
I'm just trying
Hopefully
to
we
fill
can
my
break ground in quick 30
liaison
days,
role.
something like that.
Yeah. As soon as the council approves it.
You mean anything else? Are we good?
Yeah, that's good.
I guess can we adjourn the recording? Are we good with that?
Sure.
Meeting adjourned. Yep.
What do I hit?
Stop.
End story. Stop.